All right, 11:02. I think it's good for us to get started. Again, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining another webinar hosted and provided by the Naples Micro Island in the Everglades CVB. As everybody knows, and for those who do not know, the plan is to have these monthly webinars provided by the CVB so they can provide some insights, opportunities, and just, of course, leverage the partnership that we have with our local partners in Collier County. So on today's webinar, we're going to be covering ways of maximizing your TripAdvisor presence. And I'm going to pass it on to Michael to get started.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Louisa. So again, I'm Michael Kozowitz. I'm Vice President of Client Strategy at Paradise, and Louisa is an account director that we work together on Collier County. So let me first start by saying what a time to be alive in tourism and destination marketing. The good news is there are so many new ways for visitors to learn about your destination, to see if they're a fit for your destination, to see if it has the offerings they want to do. The bad news is there is so many opportunities for everyone to be marketing at the same time. What we need to always keep in mind is that unlike the days, and I'll date myself here, unlike the days of me walking into a AAA retail establishments try to get my maps and stuff. We live in a world where anybody on Instagram is probably seeing, 100 desirable destinations a day. And then they're getting informed by that and inspired by that. And then they're looking for the easiest way to get all the information they need to make a decision on where they want to go. That includes everything of the amenities, the business, the hotels, the restaurants, and then how easy is it going to be for them to pull the trigger and, book a hotel room, make a reservation. So we're here to talk about one of the most powerful platforms out there, which is TripAdvisor. There's a few out there, like Expedia as well. These are the big ones in the marketplace. And what we're going to talk about today is what we can, how we can help you maximize your experience with TripAdvisor. I think the headline to all this, and you'll hear it many times, is that success is in the details. These platforms are just computer programs that need to be fed content, need to be fed regular updates, and need to be encouraging people to make reviews. That's how the algorithm works. And we're going to take you through that in a second, and then go through kind of ways that you can help optimize this. So let's talk about the power of TripAdvisor. Next slide. So TripAdvisor is, it allows you to have increased visibility. We all spend a lot of time and do a lot of work on all of our own amazing websites, and that's critically important to your marketing effort. But your website will just never have the reach of something like TripAdvisor will. TripAdvisor also really leverages those reviews, and that trust and credibility is not, nothing is higher than the word of mouth or hearing from a person that's actually stayed at your property or dined in your restaurant to really get a sense of, is it a fit for them, and was it a wonderful experience? Marketing and advertising does a really good job of inspiring people, but when it comes to trust and credibility, it's reviews are always going to outweigh any advertising or marketing we can do when it comes down to the final decision. Marketing and promotion, it's a built-in marketing and promotion plan, program. If I'm going to TripAdvisors and maybe I've heard about Naples and I know I kind of know what it's about, but I want to learn more, by just clicking in, putting in Naples, I'm going to already start experiencing the destination. I'm going to get a sense of what I can do there and what's going to be valuable for me as a single person, as a couple, or as a family. A competitive advantage. The people, and we'll talk a lot about this, a lot of times people put a TripAdvisor site up and it's a lot of, it's a little bit of work at the beginning, and then they kind of forget about it. And that's where the challenge comes in, and where we need to make sure that we're all maximizing the opportunity of how to use TripAdvisor to get the best results. Global reach. We know international travel is coming back. If you haven't spent a lot of times in the United States, they're coming over from, Germany, and you want to come to Florida and you want to visit Naples. This is a very good tool for them because they trust it and they want to go to it, and they may, probably go here even before going to any individual sites to get a sense of what is out there. Boosting bookings, people that pull the trigger are usually, have learned everything they needed about the destination. As hoteliers, a lot of times, obviously, it's nice if they can book directly through you. Obviously, there's advantages to that, but it's also just not realistic. There's just the amount of people going to TripAdvisor is just so massive that you're always going to find people that are going to TripAdvisor trying to find out about a destination, and the goal is to get them to quickly and easily book that trip right when they're in the mindset of doing that. And then reputation management. We're going to talk a lot about that today. You're always going to get positive reviews and you're always going to get negative reviews. It's just kind of the way the world is. A lot of the negative reviews will be ridiculous. There'll be things that someone's just venting, but we want to talk about those. Even the ones that are kind of ridiculous are very important to at least have some response to. And we'll also talk about how important it is to be timely with those responses, because that really sets up work with the algorithm, and it also helps you communicate to visitors that you are very responsive to anything that the visitor may have not had a great experience with or had a great experience with as well. All right, so just a couple snapshots, and this will be very obvious, but there's a reason why we put them in here. So when we think about accommodations, and this is all from Tripadvisor's research, we know that a lot of what people are really interested in, and this is kind of when they scrub the comments and look for keywords and things like that. Cleanliness comes up to the top, location, value, rooms, and then it kind of goes from there. Now, that's obvious, but why is that important? It's important because if we're not writing our listings with this in mind, you may know you have a very clean hotel, and you may think it's just assumed you have a very clean kitchen in your restaurant. These are the things that can help you come to the top when it comes to searches, and also when it gets to people wanting to learn more about your establishment. On the next slide, it talks about specifically restaurants. So obviously food is going to be first, but service and value are almost neck and neck. So again, I think a lot of times we assume that people know we have great service, but when you're looking at up to 25, 30 different places to have dinner in a single session, whether you're on your phone, just scrolling through, whether you're on a website or you're on the web, we want to make sure that those messages are really, really highlighted in your listings. We've worked with a lot of destinations where we'll look at partners' listings on TripAdvisor, and they won't have anything about service because they just kind of assume that people know it's good. That's a challenge, because when someone comes in, they need to know that. So this is kind of what I was talking about with success is going to be in the details when we go through this. So next. So one of the things that's most successful on TripAdvisor, and the thing that really moves the needle for people to book or to make a reservation or visit a retail establishment, is the length of the review. And that makes sense, right? I mean, imagine like, you and I are out, walking around, and you say, how was that? That was dinner last night. And I say, oh, it was good. I had a really good time. And then you ask me again, and I go on to like a paragraph or two about how the service was exceptional, and oh, by the way, I got some pictures I want to show you of my dining experience or when I stayed at the hotel. That's really critical to understand. I think a lot of times we get really hung up on how many reviews you have, and that's important, but the quality of the reviews and the way TripAdvisor measures quality is about how much detail is put into the review from the people. So we'll talk a little bit about this where, let's say you have a server that's trained to say at the end of the night, hey, we hope you had a great experience, or if anything, could be improved upon, please write something on TripAdvisor. It's important to say, the more information you can provide, the better for us to make a better experience for you and welcome other people to the destination. So like I talked about at the beginning, and from very simple level, if you don't know much about Naples, you may come to a page like this on TripAdvisor, and it will feature on the bottom, if you go to the next page, really a way for them to go and look for specifically for hotels or family friendly. We know that's always a challenge with families. Does the destination work for my family? Is it going to have things to keep my kids interested, or is there things that my teenage daughter is going to love to do? Or maybe they're just looking for a great restaurant. So this is really like 10,000 feet. But okay, I'm in the doorway. I'm kind of starting to, I'm learning a little bit about Naples. I'm seeing different establishments that I may want to go to. So this kind of guides them through that process. On the next slide, so we just picked Naples Botanical Garden just as an example. So again, this is, for those of you that aren't as familiar with TripAdvisor, this is where you start getting into, okay, I'm going to learn more about this destination. I'm going to see pictures. We're going to talk about the quality of pictures in a minute, which is very important as well. I can learn about the destination, get a sense of, when they're open, things like that. And then also things around that attraction. We know from research that one of the reasons people make decisions on a primary attraction is what can I do with the other hours in the day? And if I can know that, Botanical Gardens is great, but I can also visit these other things when I'm done, that's very useful to them. So you can see the power in something like TripAdvisor, because that's not necessarily something you would highlight on your website, right? You'd probably be remiss, you'd probably be a little hesitant to feature other destinations around your restaurant, for example, but that's where TripAdvisor can really do that. This is a great example of a well-written, longer form review. And they also took the time to put the pictures in there. Now, not only is that very helpful for people that are looking to go to the gardens, for example, it's helping with the algorithm. The algorithm is seeing that this is a review that was thoughtfully put together. It has keywords in there that are not, fluff words. They're talking about specific things about the destination. So again, we'll talk about this, that a lot of times, the partners we work with, forget about the picture part. They'll just be like, hey, leave us a review on TripAdvisor. Well, if you go one step further, and not everyone's going to do it, we totally get that. But if you go one step further in your communications, if you have something that's left, when they leave the hotel and it's, on the bill or something like that, it says, please leave, we'd love to hear from you. Please leave a review on TripAdvisor if you feel up to it. And please include pictures, because that really helps us get the word out. A lot of people just forget you can put pictures on there. So the algorithm really does reward pictures, because again, TripAdvisor wants to be successful, and they're only successful if you're successful at the end of the day. And again, just another example of, this is a little bit less words, but again, still more than I had a great time than no pictures. The algorithm's kind of look at that and smile, but not really going to do too much with it. So. All right, so I'm going to hand it over to Luisa, who's going to talk a little bit about the business listing. Business listing essentials.
Yeah, absolutely. So as explained on the agenda, and of course, in all of the emails that we sent out for this webinar is going to be helpful for those who are interested in joining TripAdvisor and for those who already have it. This section will show you how to set up, what are the basics that you need to know whenever putting your listing together. And of course, it can sound basic, but complete your profile. So make sure to add information for all of the fields required, so you can have a very robust and complete profile and provide as much information as possible for your users and travelers. And also encouraging reviews. As Michael has been saying so far, reviews are the main way of making you rank on the top of TripAdvisor searches, because it's all about the algorithm. So always, make sure that you give the opportunity to your consumers, your visitors, to leave a review. And it's really nice, because once you become a TripAdvisor partner, TripAdvisor might help you send you some collaterals that you can place on your door of your business, or even at the checkout place, so people can easily scan and just leave a review right there as they are experiencing your business. And also offer incentives. TripAdvisor does have a few guidelines on the type of incentives you can offer, but that's possible. So if you have anything special going on, or anything that you feel that it should be promoted in a seasonal way or in a year-long, time period, that's totally fine as well. And TripAdvisor encourages you to do so. Same thing for engaging with customers. So through reviews, through follow-up emails, you sometimes have the information in the profile of the visitor there that you can send a personalized message to them, just thanking them for taking the time, to be at your business, or even for leaving a great review. And optimizing keywords. That's one of the main things that you got to keep in mind when putting a listing together on TripAdvisor. Again, TripAdvisor, it's all about keywords. So you got to put yourself on the consumer shoes. Whenever you're looking something up online, you're going to ask the most basic questions, top things to do in Naples. So make sure that throughout your listing, you do have, one of the top things to do in Naples is to visit, the Naples Botanical Garden, using them as an example. So that's really important to keep in mind for all of the SEO optimization. Your website got to be consistent with your listing as well, if you have one, just to make sure that you're relaying your message to your consumers in a very consistent way. And of course, make sure to update your listing as always, in a regular basis. If there's anything new coming up, if there's anything that you feel should be necessary to let consumers know about it, make sure to include it in there and promote your listing. You can do that through your social channels. You can do that on your website. It's always a complement to all of the marketing efforts that you already have in place. And again, the reputation of TripAdvisor is really good and well known globally. So it's always good to have a presence in there as well, just as an additional way of promoting your business. And
I would add on to that, it may be helpful too, is to literally put it on the calendar as something to review. And you can decide when you want to do that. I think, at least once a month, I think twice a month is probably the best thing to do. And a lot of times you won't have any changes to it, But once you start seeing some of the analytics that will take you through, you'll see what your customers are doing. I mean, your competition is doing. And you may go, oh, wait a minute, why are they making a big deal about that when we have a way better service than them on that? That you'll start to see the more you go in there and the more you just spend, 15 minutes on a Monday, you'll start to see ways to optimize it. I guarantee it pretty much every time you go in.
Yep. And one thing also to keep in mind that it was released in one of the latest surveys from Tripadvisor, 60% of travelers before booking any type of trip to that specific region, location, they do check Tripadvisor. Just for reviews, consumer reviews are something that they take in consideration a lot, because nothing better than hearing from actual visitors than, relying on marketing and other things that unfortunately the consumer might have a bad perception on. So that's good to keep in mind as well, just so you can take in consideration the benefits of having a presence on Tripadvisor again. And going to harnessing Tripadvisor for growth, just a few tips. Utilize Tripadvisor widgets and badges. So as you keep improving your listing, Tripadvisor will eventually send you badges. You're going to be under the traveler's choice, best choices in the region. And those badges are really important, again, due to the reputation of the platform and also just to showcase the excellence of the service they provide. High quality visuals, we cannot emphasize enough how important it is. I know iPhones are very helpful. I know your cell phone might do the job, but if you have a professional photographer that can help you out, or if you even work with a marketing agency, please take advantage of having the main images on your listing being very professional and high quality, because that attracts attention from consumers. And also always encourage user-generated content. That means that pretty much when a visitor goes to your business, they take their own photos and they post it on reviews or even on the listing in general, or they even tag you on social media. So always, as you're thanking them for being there, for visiting you, just remind them, as Michael said before, hey, if you don't mind, scan here real quick, the Tripadvisor collateral that you have on your checkout place or at your door, exit door, and just ask them to leave a nice review with photos, because that adds a lot of value to your ranking in general on Tripadvisor. And one good thing about Tripadvisor as well, they do provide a analytics dashboard to you. So you can go in there, just access how many clicks you got on your listing in that specific period of time. You can see the sessions, how much time they spent going through your listing, things that they have clicked on. If you have special offers, incentives, they're also going to show you the performance of those, the engagement in general. So that helps you guide your next steps for your marketing plan in general.
So on the next page, just taking a look at a sample listing for Brooks Burgers, again, they have a menu that they feel comfortable sharing. And again, not every establishment's going to have that, because you may have to change it too often. But if you can put a menu on there, it's very, very helpful, because again, especially with people with families or couples that are, both have different tastes in what they want to eat, this helps them in that process where they can look at the menu and get a sense, okay, this is going to have something I need. Bam, I'm going to book a reservation. I'm done with that. And I can move on with my day and enjoy the destination, but know where I'm going to go have lunch or dinner. Critically important, this sounds like a small thing, but that's kind of like, one of the things with this, make sure your operating hours are up to date. They do change from time to time. Update any holidays you're taking off. There's nothing, you're going to see, we see a lot of comments where somebody goes to a establishment and the restaurant's closed or the operating hours were wrong, and they will immediately post something on the reviews, and then you've got to walk that back, and it's unavoidable time waste that you guys don't need to worry about if you can just make sure that your operating hours and are correct. And little things too, make sure Google Maps makes mistakes. It just does. So make sure that the map that they're giving you and the address is correct. If there's a better way to go, if street closures, again, that's why reviewing at least once a month is very helpful. If there's some street closures that Google might not know about, you might want to put that in there. And then parking is always a key thing too. Do I have ample parking? Is it valet? All those things could make a difference on how people think about your restaurant or hotel or establishment.
Yep.
On the next page, sorry.
Oh, sorry, Michael, just one little thing. As you can see here on this listing as an example, the more information you add, the better. Brooks Burger has a great ranking when it comes to food places in Naples, and it's all because of all the information that they put it in there. It can sound redundant. You might think to yourself, oh, they're going to check the menu online regardless. Tripadvisor is just an extension of your website or other social channels that you might have. So make sure to include all information, all of your offerings in there as well.
And then just another example, again, they have a great listing here. I mean, I would say personally, I'd probably, we look at the photos a little bit. I think there's, they've got 3 photos that talk about the fact that it's on the water. And that's great. But where's, maybe there needs to be a food plate there. Maybe there needs to be a smiling server. Again, going back to that list of things that people are really reacting to. And again, the more you can, update that, especially for restaurants, because when you think about restaurants, you're going to go to restaurants, more often than you're going to go to hotels, especially even if you're a local or if you're coming in for a trip. So you want to make sure it always feels fresh, that it's not something they've gone to this restaurant, they've considered T. Michael's Steak and Lobster House, but it just, nothing's really changed on it. The more life you can give to the listing, the more likely if they didn't consider you the first time around, they might consider you the second time. So, all right. So one of the great things about Tripadvisor is that they don't have any sort of weird hidden code when it comes to what their ranking system works. Again, their success is based on your success, so they're very open with it. The main things we'll talk about here is quality. The bubble ratings, which is what you see over to the right, that's kind of the number one thing. You want to have a very high bubble rating. And all that comes from an algorithm about how the consumers feel about you and how they're ranking. And it also is more than just them clicking on the 4 dots. It's also more holistically. What are the things being said about it, about your establishment? So that's why all those pieces are so important. But overall, is what do guests think about their overall experience with you? That's directly from Tripadvisor. So that can be a lot of things. That could be great steak, or it could be great service. That could be a great location, or that could be a wonderful hotel room. Again, the more we can encourage you to think holistically about your properties, the more you'll be able to add to your listing. Quantity, the number of reviews has become a critical indicator for their popularity ranking in the algorithm. So this is why it's so important to encourage people to write a review. It's pretty, I think a while ago, it was a little awkward to kind of ask people to write a review on your establishment. I think most people are comfortable with that request. Not everyone's going to do it. But again, if you can serve it up with explicitly what you're looking for, we'd love you to write, 3 or 4 sentences about what you thought about our visit. And if you have any pictures, I'd love you to post them. That's going to overall get better results than, oh, if you could just let us know if you had a good time. Because then they're just going to write, had a great time, or they're going to do something like that. You really have to kind of lead them down the path, because they don't know what the algorithm is, but you guys do. So now you kind of got a peek under the hood. And it's important to know that a property with 500 positive reviews could still rank higher than a property with 1,000 reviews, but with a negative rating. So that's why those reviews are so important. The next slide. Recency. This goes back to really encouraging people to be timely with their reviews. Tripadvisor has some sense of when those reviews are posted and how quickly you guys are responding to them. So this means the recent reviews are more valuable than older reviews when it comes to ranking. So if you take your foot off the gas and you don't have it part of your operational plans to really try to increase the amount of reviews you have quarter over quarter, really make it a marketing goal, like a literal marketing goal. What will happen is that it'll fall off. And then your reviews will be like from 3 months ago, and you're going to start to drop in the rankings. And then that's going to affect your bubble. And then you're not going to rank as high. And then when people go there, they may not, put you in the consideration set. Reviews for quality. Oops, sorry.
So sorry.
Reviews for quality, quantity, and recency determine the profile's popularity ranking, like I talked about. So the more consistent you can be, the more Tripadvisor is going to reward you. It doesn't have to be every day, but you certainly don't want 2 months going by without a new review. That's too long. The algorithm's going to start to penalize you for that. So, right.
And then we go to optimizing business. I just explained to you how to set up, and how to have a successful listing on your website. But for those who already have a listing that exists on Tripadvisor, here are some tips on how to keep up with that and make sure that you're always, increasing your chances of ranking higher on Tripadvisor searches in general. So again, going back to detailed business description, that really applies for also accessibility. If you have any features that it might be helpful for those type of travelers, please make sure to include it in there. That's always essential information. As Michael mentioned, parking. We just want to make sure that you prepare your visitor as much as you can prior to them getting there, because they're going to feel safer. They're going to feel proactive. For travelers like me, who always search parking around the place that I'm going, that's always good to know. So I know where I'm heading. I know that I'm not going to have to be driving around. So add as much as you can. Also correct contact information. We know plans change. We know, staff sometimes have some changes internally. So always make sure if you have that you have the contact information, if it's either an email, phones, website, always make sure that you don't forget to update your TripAdvisor listing as well. Sometimes it can be in the back end of your head, but always make sure to prioritize those as well. Unique amenities and facilities. Anything special that you have about your location, please make sure visitors know as well. Same thing as highlight accolades and awards. It's your time to brag about how awesome of a service you provide, and then editing there as well, just to make leverage your presence on TripAdvisor. And again, we're going to keep repeating, use high quality images. We cannot speak enough about that. Always make sure to invest on that sort of assets for your business, and not only for TripAdvisor, but whatever whatever you're promoting your business, it's always good to keep those in there as well. Some practical tips for optimization: provide clear and up-to-date headlines and descriptions. So again, going back to the search terms and how consumers usually go online to look up for your businesses, it's always good to put the location that you are. So for example, Naples, Brooks Burger, Naples. Because again, if I'm looking for places to eat in Naples, the chances of me showing up on that search is higher, because makes sense to the traveler. And also in my description and everywhere else, it's really good to keep those keywords in there, just so everything is consistent with the traveler search. Manage reviews proactively. So as mentioned before, you might get amazing reviews, which is awesome. Don't think that only because you got a great review, you shouldn't thank them for taking the time and, leaving those great comments for your business. Always make sure that you follow up, be personal to them as well. Personalization, it's everything nowadays when it comes to marketing, and just making sure, you stand out from competition. And negative feedback as well, reviews. So make sure that you clarify, the issue, the bad experience that the traveler might had in your business. Make sure that you pay attention, it shows to others, because as you know, TripAdvisor is public facing to anyone globally. So it shows to other travelers, that you took in consideration their experience. It might be some misunderstanding that happened when that traveler was visiting your business. So it's your time to clarify and just be like, hey, your expectations shouldn't be the same when you come to my business again, because something happened specifically to that traveler, to that visit. So always make sure, to get back to them. It shows proactiveness and also a good reputation for your business as well. Ensure
I'll just jump in there. Everyone, one of the questions we get a lot is like, well, what should I say? Generally, if somebody leaves a bad response, you can just say, we're so sorry to hear about, about your experience. Please reach out to us, if you have any other questions. 9 times out of 10, people are not going to bother to do it. They usually, the negative reviews are usually done in the heat of the moment, if they're short, and they just kind of write them. So if you feel comfortable doing that, it's wonderful to say, please, please give us a call and let us know if we can, help address that. Because what that does is that for the other people that come in and look at your review, they're like, wow, these guys they didn't just ignore the comment, they actually welcomed a solve. And again, most people are not going to call and follow up, because it's usually something silly like, my water was too warm or something like that. They're never going to follow up with it. But what it tells everybody else is that you're an establishment that actually cares and is willing to go that extra step, even to answer something that's kind of a ridiculous comment. If it's anything that's, not appropriate by any means to be on there, you can go in and be able to, ask to take that comment off if it crosses the line. TripAdvisor is pretty good about monitoring that. So if they start using swear words or getting inappropriate, they'll flag that and they'll take it off for you. And then going back to the positive reviews, no consumer expects you to say thank you to every single one that's on there, but it would be nice that, let's think of it as like, above the fold of a scroll on the listing, if they see a couple times that you guys have said thank you. Or to Luisa's point, if they said, I had a great time with my family at my son's birthday party, oh, congratulations on your son's birthday. We look forward to seeing you soon. You don't have to do it for every response, but if I go there and I see that you're consistently within reason, responding to them on the positive reviews, that goes a long way to people to feel comfortable to learn more about your establishment.
Absolutely. And when it comes to booking rates, so that applies more to lodging and hotels, businesses, of course, partners. So make sure your rates are consistent because TripAdvisor, again, it's a hub that's going to pull all of the rates that you have across, digital platforms, OTAs. So gotta be consistent, that's where the traveler will be and just have an idea and feel also that, business taking in consideration their decision making. So make sure that you have your rates there. If you have any special offers, make sure to add that in the description, for that specific platform. But that also goes well a long way. And when it comes to book now button and view deal, again, we want to make the traveler's life easier. So if they can book everything through TripAdvisor, which I do believe applies more for attractions, if you offer tours, if you offer like daily tickets, for site visit, you can definitely put it in there as well. So everything can get done through TripAdvisor. Again, an easier way of, allowing your travelers to make the decision right there instead of having to hop from one website to another. Paid advertising. So everything that we have been telling you right now, it's all organic, right? To set up a listing on TripAdvisor, to manage that as well, to keep increasing your ranking. This is free of charge. You don't have any commitment with TripAdvisor. The platform, it's there for your business just to help leverage what you offer to travelers across the globe. However, as any other, social platform, they do offer paid advertising opportunities. So with TripAdvisor, it's not different. And if you are willing and if it makes sense to your marketing plan in general, they do offer paid advertising features, which will be the one that you see on the right-hand side of your screen with the sponsored little thing on the top of your ad. So that one is going to show up on top of any other organic listing. So for example, competitor one, as you can see there, they might have good reviews, they might have good ranking, spot. But if you're putting money behind that post, your listing, your chances of showing up on the top are going to be way higher than the organic one. And as you can see there, whenever I'm looking up for, food places in Naples, my sponsored ad, it's going to show up on top of any other organic listing that we have on TripAdvisor. So in order to create a really compelling and good ad, of course, make sure high quality photo. I think that's going to be the main takeaway of this presentation. Don't ever forget to invest that again. Up-to-date and accurate information. So all of your business information, the main message that you want to leverage through that ad should be, of course, on your headline, especially if it's a seasonal promotion. Sometimes you are trying to get, snowbirds to come to your, business while they're like looking for some winter getaway. So do that as well, like a special promotion for winter getaway. So whenever they putting that outline, searching for those offers, you're going to show up. So that's a really good way of leveraging your ads as well. Set a budget. This is up to you. TripAdvisor doesn't require a minimum for you to get started. So whatever works for your marketing plan, you can go ahead and just, give it a try and be competitive. If you're investing in paid advertising, you're always going to be ahead of your competitors that are not doing that. Again, it's just a way of complementing all of the other efforts that you're doing for your business in general. And on top of that, standard paid advertising tool that it's offered by TripAdvisor, they also offer the Ad Express feature as well. That tool, it's more specific. That tool, it's more tailored for you in case you want to do like a specific promotion as mentioned before for winter, for snowbirds, or for anything else, just a seasonal dish that you have on your, restaurant, like stone crab, for example. Through Ad Express, you can literally target specific groups of, targeted audience and also regions as well. So you can be very specific on your targeting plan and also cost control and budget for flexibility. You can change that daily, if something is not working or if there's a weekend that you want to leverage that promotion more, you can definitely go ahead, in a timely manner and just increase that budget. And also it comes with enhanced tools and insights. So TripAdvisor will give you all of the insights that you need. It's going to give you recommendations on how to improve your current campaign, paid campaign, and it's just going to help you, make decisions and also for your overall business. Not only that, it can be an experience, but also you can take that as a, thing that you do every year for your business, or you just like year long.
All right, so now you're probably thinking, oh, Michael and Louisa, this all sounds great, but I actually have a business to run. How am I gonna make this easy on myself? Tripadvisor knows that. They understand that you guys are very, very busy, and this is an important tool, and you need to pay attention to it, but you also have 1,000 other things to do. So they have dashboards that are very simple. This is there's like an overview dashboard. This gives you a sense of kind of how your rating is going, where you're ranking. It gives you the idea of page traffic, unique page visitors, and it can give you a percent month over month of where you are. And then it can talk about the reviews. How many reviews are you getting? So again, if you don't have a lot of time, but you put on your calendar that every other Monday, I'm just going to pull this up and just see where it is. Where this also is very important too, is that try to track it back to when you make changes to the site. So for example, let's say you feel like your photos maybe aren't the best and you were able to get some better photos. Make a note of when you updated your Tripadvisor page, and then go back a month after and see if there was an increase. Because you may find that by the simple, I mean, again, that's why I kind of said everything's in the details. The simple aspect of just making more attractive photos increase your page traffic or your unique visitors to the page by X amount, because they're seeing the thumbnail, it's a better picture, they're more interested in it. On the next slide, you can get more detailed with Tripadvisor, the listing engagement, how many photos were viewed. Again, that might be really important for you when you're thinking about spending the time to update your page, any videos in there. Special offer clicks. This is great, right? This is free research. I can know that I tried an offer where you buy a burger and get a beer free, and it did okay. But when I said buy a burger and get wings free, it went through the roof. Well, that's good information for you to know. Tripadvisor, let's use the research that's available to us that we don't have to pay for, that we can get that information. And then, contact links clicked gives you a sense of how many people are taking an extra step in that. On the next page, you can get even more detailed. This is fun. You can go in there and you can put your competitors up to, I think, 10 of them. You can put the competitors, probably more useful for like hoteliers, but you can get a sense of what hotels were also viewed, and it will tell you what competitors are there. You can get a sense of some traveler insights, the average booking length, average booking lead time. That can be important when you're thinking about promotions, like when should I run this promotion? Especially if you're a hotelier, well, I know the booking lead time is 26 days, so there's no need for me to do it 45 days out. I should probably do it closer to when that booking window is. And then you can get competitor insights. And this is, again, strongly recommend you put that as part of your monthly review, is go in there and say, okay, let's be honest. What are our competitors doing better than us on their listings? And what are we doing better? Where can we improve? Are they saying something that's maybe not quite accurate? And is there a way that we can make more of a bigger deal about what we actually do? Though these tools are available for you to do that. And again, you can go very high level and just really kind of keep a track of traffic, or you can dig deeper with into the marketing that you have. Excellent. So just a quick summary of the things you can get from the data insights. Access performance at a glance, we talked about. Benchmark your performance up against 10 competitors, each with 5 properties. Monitor your online reputation, how many reviews you're getting every month. Again, if you think that you have a plan in place to get more reviews and you say by the end of this quarter, we want to increase it by 10%, and you're not getting there, maybe the way you're communicating to the people to ask for reviews isn't working. Maybe you need to try something different. Maybe a QR code is what you need to do. Maybe you have to have a different elevator pitch for the servers when they end the experience at the restaurant. Are they coming from couples or families? That's really good information to know, right? If you feel like you're a family friendly establishment, but you're not getting a lot of reviews from families, well, something's not working. You should have more reviews up from families. So you need to figure out how can you address that. Maybe you need to put an increased focus on trying to get reviews from families. Track your traffic rankings in your market, see where you are with the competitors, find out what travelers are clicking on. Is it things like the special offers? Are they in love with your photos? Are they going to the reviews and spending a lot of time there? That's some good insight for you. On the next slide, access photo engagement. Again, this is great. It takes time and effort to update photos. We totally get that. But if you can see results in it, that's wonderful. And you might be able to earmark some budget for the next year and say, listen, we saw a 7% increase in people clicking on our photos just because we put up 2 new photos. let's carve out a couple bucks to have a local photographer take some nice shots once, and we can use them through the year. And we know that we're going to see an increase in our in people clicking on them. And then analyze demand trend sections gives you access to all that key visitor data, top countries, cities, times when visitors are searching for your property, as well as their booking and lead time. So those, that's great data that is just part of this massive ecosystem, which is Tripadvisor. So what do you do now? I think that, if you can take away anything from this presentation, it's really that like I said at the beginning, the successes in the details and successes in frequency. The more you can make this as an active part of your process, the better results you're going to have. Once you get past doing it a couple times, it won't take you very long. But what generally happens is that if it's not a priority, you'll all of a sudden wake up 8 months from now going, oh, well, we haven't really even looked at our Tripadvisor site, or we haven't really evaluated how our pictures are doing. Try to make it a priority, and because this is literally a free service that has the power to reach millions of people. So if you don't have a Tripadvisor page, very easy to do. We'll send you this deck. You can click on that link, you can claim your listing, and then you can learn how to optimize it. If you have a current site, enhance your visitor visuals, try to get better pictures on there, rotate them out. Could be seasonality. I mean, obviously Florida is beautiful all year round, but obviously there's things that may be going on that you want to focus on, a different dish that you feature at a different season. Try to think about that in your listings. Don't think of it as a static page. Think of it as a living document that represents who you are to the customers. Monitor reviews and respond quickly. That we talked about that both from a positive and negative standpoint. Understand the ranking and ratings and how to improve them. We'll always publish if we know there's some major change to how they're analyzing things, but it'd be good for like every 6 months just to go to the Tripadvisor website and get a sense of if they've changed their analytics at all. Is there something you can take advantage of? You got to play the game a little bit, but that's great, because you're going to be, if you do that a little bit, you're doing way more than your competitors are. And then leverage TripadvisorSupport.com. Again, they're only successful if you're successful. So the more great responses, the more interactive experiences people have with your listing, the better Tripadvisor does. So they are very willing to help. And obviously, Louisa and I and Paradise stand at the ready for any specific questions. We'll always try to get back to you as quickly as we can with anything that you may have questions on. So that was a lot to take in. Again, a very powerful platform. Most people don't use it to its full potential. And we wanted to, spend time to really let you know that there are ways that you can make this even more powerful for as part of your marketing portfolio.
All right, we're going to open up to any questions anyone might have. And again, I just want to remind everyone, this deck and the recording of this webinar, we're going to be placed on the partners page on the paradisecoast.com/partners. This is your hub to find all of the, insights, resources that we provide to local partners. So if you want to go back, just share internally with your team, things that you took away from this meeting, you can find everything, all of the materials on that page. All right, I think we got a question. How can I claim an existing listing on Tripadvisor? That's a great question. So on the last slide of the presentation, we hyperlinked where you can go and claim your listing. So for example, someone might have gone to Tripadvisor, and left a review for your business, even though you don't have a listing that you manage yourself. So you just have to go to Tripadvisor. There's a very clear button that says, claim my listing. And you just have to provide some basic essential information to Tripadvisor just to verify that you're the actual owner of that business. And then you're going to be able to claim it, have your own login, and manage all of your information on your own. We got another question. Can you edit the name of your listing? Absolutely. Yeah, you can make changes. If you want to add the region as we recommended, you can do that. If you want to change season up due to seasons, you can do that as well. So you're free to make any edits as you wish. All right, I think that was all. Again, thank you so much for taking the time. You know, the CVB is always here to help all of the Collier County local partners, and be on the lookout for the next webinar that's going to take place in May. We're going to be sending out, communication and just heads up for that. And just want to thank everyone again for your time. If you have any questions, we're always here to help you and guide you to have a successful business.